Okay, I got this really good question from Chapter 7 quiz. This would be problem number 5. Um, and here it is. We've got a hybrid car whose the mean gas mileage for a hybrid car is 56 miles per gallon, and we know that the standard deviation is 3.3 miles per gallon. So we've got a couple questions to answer about the hybrid car. Like what proportion of hybrids get over 62 miles per gallon, what proportion of hybrids get 50 miles per gallon or less. Now you can go to the tables in the back of the book, or you could use something like a TI-83. One thing that's really helpful though is to use is to use StatCrunch. I've done some videos on that before. Um, what I want to show you is how to get there. So probably when you open StatCrunch, you get to something that looks like a spreadsheet. It's not really a spreadsheet. But since we're talking about a normal curve here, um, and we're told that it's approximately normal, so we can use what's called the normal curve calculator. Okay, so there's a lot of different kinds of distribution. Statistics can be distributed in a lot of different ways. We're told this is normal, so we can use the normal curve calculator. And you see it gives us this nice bell curve with a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. That, of course, is the standard normal curve. But we can input our mean, which is 56, and our standard deviation, which is 3.3, into this calculator. And then we can use the probability the random variable is greater or less than certain values here. And for part A, it's the proportion of hybrids that gets over 62 miles per gallon. So we want to know the probability that of a hybrid being 62 gallons or greater, of getting 62 miles per gallon or greater. Just hit compute, and you get a decimal. You can see that's pretty far to the right of the normal curve, so it's not catching much of a distribution. The probability is pretty low. And you might have had some, if you thought about that for a second, you might have had some sense of that with the empirical rule, using the empirical rule. Of course, when you have to round of 4 decimal places, the empirical rule isn't going to cut it most of the time. You've got to use one of these calculators. Okay. Now, the same kind of thing happens on the proportion of hybrids that get 50 miles per gallon or less. So remember, the mean is, 56 here. We're really talking about this area underneath the curve. So that's going to be pretty small too. Now, to use the calculator, we just need to switch this to less than and then enter 50. So we want to know the probability that the random variable is less than 50. Just hit compute, and looks like that's the same, right? 5. And check the answer. So yeah, it's just it's the same number of standard deviations away, right, from the mean, just on the opposite side of the distribution. Okay, the cool thing about this calculator is now we've got a different question: the proportion of hybrids that gets between 59 and 62 miles. So that's both of those are above the mean, right? So we're talking about like in here, this area. And we can use this calculator to do it. We have to switch tabs though, from standard to between. You see the mean and the standard deviation are kept the same. And we're just going to input 59 is the low end of the interval, and 62 is the higher end. So the probability that the random variables between 59 and 62 is 0.1471. Okay, if I've rounded right, we'll see. Yep. Okay. And then the last question: the probability that a randomly selected hybrid gets less than 45 miles per gallon. We go back to the standard tab, right? This is going to be a really low probability, right? It's a lot of standard deviations away oops, I changed the wrong thing. That should be 56, the mean, and I want to know that it's less than, what is the probability that's less than 45? So this should be pretty, yeah, that's less than 1% for sure. 0, 0, 0, 4, it looks like. So back in my day, we had to use tables to do all this. You guys are quite lucky to have better, much better tools. So I hope that helps a little bit, how to use the normal curve calculator and StatCrunch to solve some of these questions.